Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Addison Township Board meeting. Today is September 16th at 6 o'clock, and it's being held at the Addison Township offices at 1440 Rochester Road in beautiful Addison Township. We can all stand for the pledge, please. We have a veteran here. Any veterans? Well then, Eric, we'll let you start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please keep standing.
Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day, blessing our township. Help us to make wise decisions today. In God's name we pray, amen.
Thank you. Okay, so we have roll call, please.
Yes, Eric Sent.
Eric.
Linda Garrett.
Present.
Joe King, he's excused. Jacob Newby.
Here.
Lori Fisher.
Here.
Bennett's present. Supervisor Pearson.
Here. Okay. Move on to announcements. Any announcements?
No, not at this time.
Okay, department reports. I do see that we have Representative John Riley here. He's our state representative, and I think you have some words of wisdom from Lansing for us.
Well, I was asked by Pauline, who's pretty persistent, to come out here and give an update, and which I'm glad to do. I love to come out and give updates. One of the reasons I don't come out very often is because I have office hours on the same night that you have it. So I got my staff who's filling in for me tonight while I come here. So if that works out, then I can probably do this more often. It's the first time I've done that. So just everybody, they want to know what's going on with the budget. And we thought actually 2 weeks ago we had a good deal going with the governor and the Senate, and that we were all in agreement. And then come to find out that that was not the case. The governor she expressed that she was fine with the budget as long as it did not have a long-term road plan in it. And we did not have a long-term road plan to our thought, but we were going to put $500 million in the budget more for the roads. And so with that, she considered that a long-term road plan. And so the differences of semantics, or whatever you want to call it, how you looked at it, that basically took her off of the existing plan. She was not happy with it then. So, but we're going to move forward and still pass that budget anyhow, because we believe that it's a good budget. And we believe, because the schools and many other people want to know what's going on with the budget, so this brings clarity to it. So whether she's going to veto or not, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I imagine over the next 2 weeks we'll be passing out a budget that the House and the Senate have come to agreement on. I was just going to go through a list of some of the bills that I am presently working on, and how much time do I have for it? Like
As much as you want.
Okay.
All right, so less than 10 minutes.
Well, it'll probably be about 10 minutes, so I'll do 9. So one of the bills that I have that has made it out to the floor and had real good success there with 85 votes out of 109 was on the work keys, which is an 11th grade test that every 11th grader is required to take. And my bill would make this optional, and the reason that is because most school districts say that this test is, their words, useless. And because it was originally put in so that employers could look at data from students and decide whether they would be a good fit for their job. And they were more like trade type jobs. The problem is that nobody is using the test. And meanwhile, we're paying $4.3 million a year for this test. We've been doing that for 10 years. So obviously, it's we spent over $40 million on something that nobody is using. So this would make it optional, which then we would only be charged for the test that we actually use. So that made it out of the House, like I said, and it's going to go. Heading towards. It's in the Senate right now. Had not had a hearing. So that's one bill that we're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with that, because that's a true cost-cutting measure. I have another bill on free speech on campus. Right now there's a problem with college campuses where they do not allow free speech like many people would think that they would. I would have thought that you could go out into the open areas of a college campus, I'm talking public college campuses here, and talk about topics, whatever you wanted to talk about, providing it's not going to endanger people. That's not the case. Often these colleges have zones where they call free speech zones. So you go back into the corner over in this area here and you can have free speech. That's a problem. College campuses should be a place where everybody is open to different viewpoints, and it should be easily done, not something where you have to go to a certain area to hear those viewpoints on. Along the same lines, when they have certain speakers that come from some colleges, they have the opposing viewpoints have been so loud that you cannot no longer hear the speakers, and then the schools are not taking the corrective action to make sure that those speakers can be heard. And so the colleges need to be responsive to make sure that the speakers can be heard, and that they can't be shouted down. So this bill, this covers certain basically regulations that shows what the college has to abide by. And so presently it made it out of the Oversight Committee, and now it sits in the Ways and Means Committee. So we'll be waiting for a hearing on that one. I do have a work permit bill. It's a minor bill, but presently if you have a homeschooler and he wants to get a work permit, he has to go to a public school to get the principal or some authority there at the school to sign off that he can get a work permit, which does not make sense to me and many others, because the parent is the one who's really the one who's in control of his education. The people at the school don't even know who this kid is, you know. So this basically allows the parents to sign off on it so that they do not have to go to the school. And that's, again, that's in Ways and Means. I have a bill coming up in the, actually Wednesday. It has to do with the internet and the bias that the internet is presently putting on through different like Facebook and through YouTube, where they're basically not, they're claiming that they are neutral on what they allow to have posted, and that does not appear to be the case. It seems like they're actually not neutral at all, and they are letting certain, you know, they will, you know, basically they're making a claim that, well, we allow neutral postings. We don't favor one side or the other, but that's not the case. And so they regularly, through various methods, censor certain things, or their search engines are set up to go to certain perspectives which are not neutral. And so this bill is under the consumer protection laws, which basically says that you're being that it has to do with fraud, and that's what the situation is here. That if you go to a company and expect that they're going to be neutral because they say they're neutral, they should be neutral, and that's not what's going on here. So that bill is coming up, like I said, in the Communication and Technology Committee on Wednesday. Actually, on Thursday, we had a couple of pretty interesting committee meetings. One has to do with these gas cans that, you know, I don't even have one, but these newer gas cans that came in 2012. I don't know, do any of you have these newer gas cans?
They don't work.
Okay. Anybody else here have them? Yeah, okay. So I was not familiar with these. All my cans were old, and so there was a presentation done at the Commerce and Tourism Committee meeting that I had, or that I was on part of, and the bill basically said that if gas cans are made in Michigan and they are sold in Michigan, then we should be able to go back to the old style gas can, and basically challenging the Interstate Commerce Clause. So this is a pretty radical thing. Well, I don't know if it's got wheels or not, but for people like yourself, Bruce, who think that the gas can doesn't work very well, I think you're not alone. People across that we talk to, it's like, yeah, this is a ridiculous thing that we've got here with this gas can. It was for, I think the EPA set up regulations on the fumes that come off it, but invariably people are spilling a lot of gas because of these new style gas cans, and just using them is impractical. So we're going to see what happens here. The courts, we believe, are swinging more in favor of the state's right, and this is going to, we'll see how far along this bill moves. I think it will move out of the Commerce and Trade Committee. I think we're pretty favorable to it, but once it gets to the next committee, though, I imagine it's going to go through the Ways and Means Committee. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but that'll be an interesting one to watch, because here the states are standing up for state rights and saying, wait a minute, if these gas cans are made in Michigan, sold in Michigan, then we should not have to go and follow federal guidelines for these gas cans. And then lastly, we had a very interesting hearing at the Oversight Committee. Had to do with the governor's ban on the vaping of the products that are, sort of like the flavored products that they're using vaping. And I really know very little about vaping until this committee hearing. And normally committee hearing is about an hour and a half long. This was 4.5 hours long. We had lots of witnesses. We had people coming from vape shops. We had we had doctors testifying. We had different think tanks like the Reason Foundation, Mackinac Center for Public Policy weighing in on all of this. And my takeaway for one aspect is that vaping using controlled substances, like that are basically not black market products, but things that are sold legally. They are they said they're about 5% as dangerous as smoking cigarettes. So much less dangerous than smoking cigarettes. That's I'm not talking about black market products you put in there. So the owners of vape shops, and there are many, I think they're figured across the state, there's over 2,000 people employed in vape shops. They look at it as this is almost a heroic thing. They've gotten people off of smoking cigarettes. And by the way, 480,000 people die in the United States every year from smoking-related health problems. So 480,000 people, they look at it as like saving lives. We've got them off of a very dangerous product, smoking cigarettes, and we've transitioned them over to vaping. And which is very, like I say, it's about 5% as dangerous. So that's one of the claims that they make. But the bigger issue here is that the governor stepped in and banned these products, which will basically shut down the vaping shops. And that, we believe, is an overreach from what the governor is doing. Now, what I should say, that's what I believe. The caucus and the rest of the rest of the House of Representatives, they have not decided to take any action against the governor. No resolutions, nothing like that. We'll have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen from this. But if you look at the whole picture, you see a situation where these vaping products do actually do good, yet the governor is calling it a national health emergency, or not national, but a state health emergency. So I'm not sure that she can make that claim. On top of that, it looks like we're going to be putting about 2,000 people out of work, and that's not something that I think we want to be doing. But it really is, appears to me an overreach of what she can do. Now, she can do illegally what she's doing, because obviously she's had the law on her side. But I really question the ability of looking at what one doctor says, and that this is a public health emergency, to take such drastic action. So I'm not sure what the legislature is going to do about this. I have to wait and weigh in. And then things were complicated, obviously, when the president had some similar thoughts about vaping. And that was actually, he came out, I think, a couple days before, or maybe it was even the day before this hearing. So, but I believe he's kind of backed off on his position. So we'll have to kind of just wait and see what the legislature is going to do. I know that originally the Senate was like, yeah, we don't really want to touch this issue, but I think that they're rethinking that. So those are some of the things that are going on in Lansing right now. I don't know if you have any questions, or for myself, I'm here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law vapes, and I've been telling him about it. He says, well, I don't buy that expensive stuff in Michigan. I can get it from Texas. They mail it right to me. So my question is, I don't care what the governor does or all these other people, how are you going to handle it when they get it from down in Texas and Mexico? And it's mailed right to your house. None of these, whatever she does,
Right.
Everybody gets around it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of laws they have for that. And it's a good point. And then the black market. I didn't even talk about the black market, but you know that immediately this is going to go to a black market, and that's where you've seen 5 or 6 deaths people have reported recently from vaping. These are using black market or not. They're not using the products that they get at the vape shops. So to say that that's from the materials from the vape shop is not that's not correct. And I think that's what they're basing a lot of this on. So,
how about the 500 million you said they transferred over to roads? Where was that all at? Was that just taken from somewhere else?
when they went through the budget, when they went through the budgeting process, they cut back on certain other areas of the budget, and that's the money that they had left over that they applied towards roads. And just for, I guess, so you know my position, in 2015 we increased the registration fees and we increased the gas tax. And we put an increasing amount in every year from that point, and it peaks out in 2022. On top of that, we put in additional funds. I believe we put in 400 or 500 million last year. There's 500 million this year. And I believe that that is plenty of money because it's a long-term fix. It's not a short-term fix. And if you all of a sudden pour a bunch of money there, that's just gonna, there's only so many people that work on roads. Now you're gonna be paying overtime, you're gonna be paying, and so that doesn't make sense. And if we do actually need to spend more money, plenty, believe me, there's plenty of places that we can cut within the budgets. Some of these appropriations chairs have told me, I wanted to cut more, here's what my target was to come in at, but I actually wanted to cut a lot more, and I saw places we could cut the budget more. So I think that there's plenty of money in that $57 billion budget that we have that we can get money for the roads.
Good. What about changing the spec of the road, the specifications and changing it to a little better spec that it actually would last longer? I know it costs more, they say, but...
Yeah, I'm not an authority on this. That's the one thing with this job. There's only, there's so many different issues. There is actually the appropriations chair, Hernandez, he, last term, he really saw some great opportunities to try new materials that the state wasn't presently doing. And that's one area that I know for sure that they want to look into, is that they want to challenge the state that you need to try new materials every year. We need to be trying new things out. And so that might be something that they would do there and do some tests on it. So
Do they require these people to warranty the road?
Yeah, there are road warranties, but from what I hear, it's better to have a maintenance program. It works out practically better than it does to have a warranty program, because I don't know if it's because they end up in court of what's actually how the warranty is phrased or what. I'm not sure, but that's what I've heard, that when it comes to that topic, you're better off with a maintenance program that comes along with it.
Are they gonna do anything in terms of getting rid of our dirt roads and making go from mud to asphalt?
Well, that's, you gotta talk to your county on how they're gonna do all that. And these guys here,
They're darn fairy tales now.
I mean, you could go the route of some municipalities go and raise taxes for roads, but a lot of people, I would rather have the dirt roads and the less traffic than the higher taxes. So, but everybody's different, so. That's what these guys decide.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Go
Okay,
back to
you're welcome.
Lansing, do some more good work, and fill us back in when you get time.
All right, I'm trying to make you over here more often. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see now, we'll move on to petitions. Any petitions?
No.
No petitions. Order of business, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Did you have an item number, consent? Was there an item number 4, or is that on yours? I don't have that on mine.
I don't have a form.
Oh, okay.
Did you get one?
Was that the workers' comp or not? Or that?
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, why do I have it then? Who gave that to me? Or is that from last time? I will say that.
Maybe it is. I don't have an folder with them then. Thank you very much. You got me.
There's an addition to the agenda.
There is.
Do I get a finder's fee? This is for workers' comp. Item number 4, workers' comp.
Yeah, look at the dates. I think we already did this.
Well, then I don't get the finder's fee?
No.
Okay. I'm okay with it then. I don't have it. It was just I have it in my packet. I studied that all night. I wanted you guys to know that.
You don't look at the date.
That's okay. If you don't want to have that on, if you're all set. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
You gonna revise the agenda?
No, because we don't think that there's a form.
Oh, there's not.
I have a 4th, but if you say that that's already been taken care of, that's workers' comp.
Okay.
Did we already take care of the workers' comp for you? It's got your name on it.
It does? As just more money I don't want to pay.
I didn't see it on the last minute, so.
No, this would have happened quite a while ago. The invoice date was May and the due date is June.
But did we ever,
sorry, I just don't go back that far. We can add it to be safe, but I think we've already did it.
Okay, if you say
But
so.
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
So does that mean you want to add it?
Let's just do it.
It's
But I think
workers'
it's
comp. It's
old.
just the bill for workers' comp, okay? It's $27,344, and the fire chief reviewed this, and it's MML, Michigan
It was
Municipal
due in
League.
June.
Okay, but I don't think we ever had it on the agenda, but, okay, so adding number 4, which is just the bill of $27,344 for workers' comp, just to be safe, as Pauline says. Okay? Anybody have
exposure so
a motion then to add that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, no other words of wisdom? Okay, can we roll call on that, please?
Erickson.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Jacob Rudy.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, consent agenda.
Yes, we'll have a brief one this time. August 19th minutes, bills as paid for August. ZBA appointment Lauren Smith for a 3-year term, and to approve the fire department holiday schedule.
Any comments from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Consent. Consent.
Consent, yes.
See what you started first?
Okay,
I
so
hear you guys are lopsided.
if there's no other,
Joel's not.
there's no other comments, go ahead, roll call on that, please.
Yes, Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Move on to item number 2. I gotta get a drink of water, this is where I have to do all the talking. Okay, this is a public hearing resolution for Dorn Special Assessment District. The Township Board received petitions from the residents requesting a special assessment district. The petition is signed by more than 50% of the record owners based on the tax roll in Oakland County, consisting more than 50% of the total frontage of the proposed SAD, requesting the amount of $500 per parcel for each of the next 5 years, winter tax 2019 through winter tax 2023, for the purpose of maintenance, including snow plowing, grading, gravel, salt, or chloride treatment, and a 5% collection fee for the township. And whereas Dorn Drive and Dorn Court currently has an established and assessed SAD for $250, valid through 2022 with a 5% township fee. The petition before the township rescinds that established SAD as requested by the resident and shall be replaced with a proposed petition for 2019 through 2023 for a total of $500. And the resident's proposed petition includes the parcels of 05, 13, 400, 057. Whereas the proper notice of the hearing has been published in the Oxford Leader and mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed SAD. This is a public hearing. This is where we listen. If anybody wants to come up, then this is where we listen on this petition. I'll open up the public hearing. We'll say it's 6:23. If anybody has anything they'd like to say in the public hearing in reference to the Dorn special assessment.
My name's Barb Colombo, 1520 Dorn. I just wanted to state that I support this and I'm hoping this is going to move forward because I think we can finally get some improvements and continued maintenance.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody? You just got a thumbs up back there, so we're good to go?
Good job.
Okay. If we have no further comments then, I'll ask one more time, is there any other comments? If there's no further comments, I will close the hearing. We'll say that it is 6:24. We'll make it 25 because we had a thumbs up. So 6:25. The motion is in order. Move the resolution.
I'll make a motion to move the resolution authorizing and rescinding an SAD for Dorn Drive and Dorn Court.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further comments? Not hearing any, could we have roll call on that, please?
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, the resolution is so moved. Okay, now we're on item number 3, storage facility. This is the resolution for the final site plan review for a storage facility. I think it's Brett, it's at Peglowski, is that correct? Yes. Okay, pretty good at that. This is the zoning, it's an M1 light industrial, approximately 5.64 acres. The site plan's ready for us to review this month. All the approvals are in. We received the resolution from the Planning Commission addressing the fence. The resolution lists all the conditions prior to the applicant moving forward. Mr. Peglowski, is there anything you'd like to add or say, or?
No, I just appreciate the township's work on this and look forward to hopefully open up the storage facility up here.
I'm just sorry that it took another meeting, but like I said, we want to make sure we get everything right, and I think we have everything right this time, so. Does the board have any questions?
I actually have a couple things. I'd like to add into the resolution that the dead or diseased landscaping be replaced at the next growing cycle, if there's anything dead or diseased. And also, I really hope that you want to upgrade that fence to something more decorative. And if you decide, and you have to go back to the Planning Commission, so in accordance with Ordinance 2908, the board can authorize the supervisor to determine if the applicant upgrades to an ornamental privacy fence, it meets or exceeds the standards, and the supervisor may deem the ornamental privacy fence as a minor deviation to the site plan without coming back to the board.
Okay. Does anybody have any other comments?
Are you okay with those?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because the fence at the Planning Commission is still in effect, but where we're going is if you did decide to
It'll be
upgrade.
an option to upgrade.
Yeah, without having to go through the process again.
Right.
Yeah,
If you want to do that, come see me. Okay?
because there are nicer fences and you might change your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Upscale storage facility.
We would need to find out if the board's okay with those 2 additions.
Is the board okay to add those 2 additions? One was to allow me to let you go forward and put a nicer fence up. Is that correct?
If you decide
If
to.
you decide to, right?
Doesn't have to, it's just, I'm concerned there might be a lot of maintenance on the other.
Well,
Linda has her fingers crossed.
I have mine crossed too.
Me too.
Fire department
Because that one picture looks really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, one of the, I guess if I could comment, one of the concerns, I think it was a PVC fence. One of the concerns with PVC is just strength, durability, and security of it, right? But we'll certainly take another look at it and see if there's a solution that meets all those needs.
The PCV fence, that's the,
The vinyl materials.
plastic, yeah.
I'm told that they're just as durable. So, that's your research.
how long does that fencing usually last? The plastic things that you have to weave through?
I don't know, we haven't fully researched that, but I think if it's secured, it should last, a good 20, 30 years.
Not the fence, but the plastic
The
stuff.
plastic stuff?
It's not, it's something you'll be replacing regularly.
Okay.
Because by the time you add those plastic strips and all those poles and stuff, might be pretty close.
Okay.
Because I know you have to watch your budget too.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so did we added that on there?
I'm fine with those additions if everybody else is. I'd like to move the resolution authorizing final site plan approval with conditions for a storage facility located at 0514-100-008 with the 2 additions. I don't think I need to read those again, but one's concerning the fence, and you'll be able to skip site plan, and the second, that diseased or landscaping be replaced with the next growing cycle.
I'll support.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? If not hearing any, can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Eric Sent.
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, the resolution is so moved. Thank you very much. Good luck. We're going to add number 4?
You're on the phantom number 4.
I don't know. Well, I'm just,
So just make the motion because you have all the paperwork knowing our studies.
okay, well, I'd like to make the motion for the approval of the renewal of the workers' comp, which is with MML. It's for $27,344, and I noticed last year it was $28,126. So this is actually cheaper. So,
That's your motion?
pardon?
Yes, he made the motion because he has the info.
And so I think it's already been paid, but I want to make sure that we
What's
approve
the
it.
time period for that?
It goes from
July. But
July
it's-
1st till July 1st of 2020.
They would have been sending us notices.
So is that my motion?
That's your motion.
Do I have a second on my motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further comments? Not hearing any. Since it's money, could we have a roll call on that, please?
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Eric Sent.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. That's for insurance, as Pauline calls it. Okay, we'll move on to public forum. Anybody in the public have anything they'd like to add?
I have one. I actually passed out the master plan to everybody in the board there. I have a few more copies at the station. About 8 years ago, we came up with that document. This one is a revision and just adding in some new stuff. And we've actually accomplished some of our goals in there, so I wanted to make sure that that new document there represents that. And our ISO rating and score is in there as well. So we put a little bit of time in that. It took about another 8 months to put together. And our captain is the graphic artist, and she's the one that put it all together and put it out to the print shop and all the graphics in there and stuff. So really proud of that document. A lot of research went into that. Of course, it wasn't as hard as the first time, 8 years ago, but it still had to be updated and presented properly. So if you could take some time to read that, if you have any issues, come see me. But I know the fire department is running smoothly, and we are accomplishing some goals like we wrote down 8 years ago, and things are happening with your support. So, and the residents, thank you.
I'd like to just add one thing there, Chief. I walk over, I watch you guys working all the time. Is it Ken?
Ken Coffin.
Is a new guy. I walked over there and here's a guy pulling an engine out of an ambulance to make sure that it gets all the upgrades on it and repaired properly. I got to give that guy a lot of credit.
Yeah, he's actually a certified mechanic. We were lucky to get him. He's an older gentleman. But that ambulance, the way it sat because of that Ford motor that was in there, it had oil issues, leaks. And for us to sell that truck right now, we'd only get about $12,000 to $15,000. We put about $2,000 into it. Hopefully we'll be able to sell it for $30,000. So that's why we're doing the necessary repairs.
I got the whole update from him while watching him work on that, and I couldn't believe that he had that whole engine out and that whole front end of that ambulance. Right? You have some talented people. I have to compliment you. Okay. Anybody else in public forum? Nobody? Okay. Addison Township board reports. Anybody on the board have a report from any of their... Yes?
Well, I wanted to let you know the planning commission is holding a public hearing regarding the setback in the suburban estates.
Is it suburban? It's not suburban estate. Is it suburban? Yes. The 50 foot and the 30 foot or 35 foot?
30 and 50.
Yes, okay. Anything else? No? Okay, thank you. No legal reports. Supervisor's report. The only thing I have to... Oh, you do have a legal report.
No, I don't, but communications is there too. So we did receive a letter from Beth Slade. She's from the Indian Lake Improvement Association, and she is... it's a lengthy letter, so I'm just going to say that she's curious about when we are going to start a single waste hauler, like some of the other communities that surround us. And that'll be on file.
Well, I tried once, single hauler, not everybody was happy, but now I guess things have changed, so maybe we'll bring that up at a later time. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Supervisor report. The only thing I have to say is that the chloriding will start in the next week or two. This is our last chloriding and grading on the roads. The rest of this summer, they've done a pretty good job. I know in the spring, we had some real problems with their scheduling and with the weather, but things are now look much better. And I did see that we had electric failure, and it was an equipment failure. I guess we had some heavy storms and some of the equipment failed, but they did get it done in the time that they said they would get it done, so I have to give them credit for that. I only used 5 gallons of gasoline on my generator, so other than that, a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Support?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Next meeting, October 21st, 6 o'clock. Thank you.